My name is Ted Callahan, and we're all really excited to talk you through the evolution of our QuickBooks Live strategy today. So Chris, if you'll advance the slide, I'll quickly introduce myself and then let Cassie and Itai introduce themselves as well. As I said, my name is Ted Callahan. I'm responsible for our accountant strategy and partnership, which basically looks like proactively telling all of you about changes that we're up to. And then myself and my team engage with all of you out in the community to gather your feedback and go back and make sure we're prioritizing the right things. And we're aware of where we can do better, where we're doing well, and where we should keep going. So that's enough about me. Cassie, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cassie Devine. I lead our accountant ecosystem and business operations teams here in our small business and self-employed group.
Thanks, Cassie.
And, hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Itai Jeksnian. I lead the live segment for small business and self-employed.
Perfect. We also have a team behind the scenes to answer questions live in the chat as they're coming up. So thank you, Zenubia, Anusha, Debbie, Kim, Miranda, and Jessica. They are prepared and they should be able to address a lot of your questions. And then also we'll have some time for Q&A at the end as well. So as I said, we're excited to be with you all today to talk about the evolution of our QuickBooks Live strategy. To do that, we're going to have Cassie kick off, and then Itai will take you through the actual product experience itself, a number of the customer problems, and then how we've designed the service. And then, like I said, we'll get to Q&A. So with that, Cassie, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ted, and thank you all for being here. As Ted shared, we've invited you for an update on our QuickBooks Live strategy. We are entering an exciting new chapter, and we want to brief you on the changes and outline how we'll partner together to serve our shared customers. Let me start with a little context. Our strategy is to be an AI-driven expert platform. This is all in service to delivering revolutionary experiences that power our customers' prosperity and doing that at an unprecedented speed and scale. And we're clear on who we serve, the customer benefits that we aim to deliver, and that we cannot do it alone. Accounting professionals are one of our critical partners in delivering this strategy. Now, along with our company strategy, we have a set of big focus areas that we call our big bets. The second one is to connect people to experts. This is to address one of the most important problems all of our customers face, which is a lack of confidence. You all see that firsthand with small businesses. As they start and run and grow, fear and uncertainty and doubt creep in. And experts bridge the gap. They help our customers build confidence, and they help our customers be more successful. And that's why we've invested and created and continue to invest in our Pro Advisor program, certifying and training hundreds of thousands of professionals, connecting accounting professionals to our small business customers. It's also why we started to offer live on-demand services to the 40% of our small business customers we knew weren't ready yet to connect with an accounting professional but needed help. Now, the live services we started with 4 years ago, we are in a different place today, and I'll share a little bit about our portfolio and our focus going forward. But I want to anchor us in the customer gap that we see that needs to be addressed, where we believe that our services, in concert with your high-value advisory services, really can bring customers to the benefit and success that we desire for them. And it's really around three big things. One is getting started with QuickBooks correctly, getting set up right so that you're on the track for accurate bookkeeping, you're set up for success, and you avoid busy rework for you and your accounting professional later. Two, answering basic product and accounting questions that give you the guidance you need to be able to do your books on a regular basis, categorize transactions, and a lot of these questions are more about why or what something is about or how to find it in QuickBooks, less about specific advice, but we'll share a little bit more about that. And then lastly, how do people make the most of QuickBooks? We hear that all the time from customers, that there's a lot they're paying for that they're not taking advantage. And so there's a lot of guidance that we can give for best practices on how to get the most out of QuickBooks for things like, how do I see the reports that will help me answer basic questions about how my business is doing? So our strategy is evolving. We've got a portfolio of services across assisted and full service, and customers will still be able, small businesses will still be able to find and purchase our full service offerings, but our focus is really coming to our assisted offerings, and specifically evolving what has been different offerings of guided setup for customers to get started with QuickBooks and things we've learned in assisted bookkeeping to have a new offering that is called QuickBooks Live Expert Assisted. The portfolio in general, the brand is getting a new name. QuickBooks Live becomes QuickBooks Live Expert, and the focus is on this assisted service. And so this is really our new chapter, and I'd love to tell you about it. This QuickBooks Live Expert Assisted addresses the problems that I raised. How do you get started right in QuickBooks? So they understand data and how to perform basic tasks. How do we answer key questions about setting up bank feeds, how to reconcile, the chart of accounts, categorization, general accounting. And I want to emphasize that this is to coach a small business to understand how these things work. Our live experts for assisted, they don't have access or can control a customer's books. And so this is really about being a lifeline for some of that coaching, so a small business is able to do it themselves with your help. And lastly, answering common tax questions. Again, not guidance, not filing, but just some of the basics that allow a small business to build some of that financial literacy and business acumen that will put them on the right path. We see this service as something that is absolutely complementary, not competitive to what you offer. It augments the high value services you provide, and hopefully in concert with your service, gets our shared customer to a better place in terms of being on track for success. So starting next week, we're going to elevate this experience in QuickBooks Online. I'll have Itai talk to you about that, but would love to just underscore, we see it as complementary. In fact, 40% of our customers who use our expert assisted services today are also connected to an accountant. And we've learned a lot about the magical recipe working in concert together. So Itai, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you, Cassie. And again, welcome everybody and good afternoon. So Cassie did a great job at kind of touching on the customer problem. I'll share more on the problem and the details behind that, and then go into the benefit that we're paying off to customers. I'll also share the experience that we're bringing to live April 29. So if we move to the next slide, really, I just want to anchor us again on the points that Cassie was sharing earlier today. Our customers struggle, right? And the reason that we have Big Bet 2 is to ensure that we're going after the core problem that they have, which is confidence. And confidence translates in a variety of ways to our customers in QuickBooks, right? It starts by understanding how you get started, how to understand the essence of bookkeeping and QuickBooks itself, how it all works, and the importance of categorization and understanding your chart of accounts, all the way to really taking advantage of the benefits and the features that we offer as part of QuickBooks today. So these are the core problems that we're trying to solve for our customers, and this is what this really offer is really aimed at solving. Now, the important piece, and Cassie has alluded to that earlier. This service is a coaching service. We are not touching the client's customer book. We're actually teaching them how to use QuickBooks. We're teaching them and coaching them through a screen share capability that we have. So they're engaging with our experts, and we go through a variety of needs that they have, as I've talked about, right? All the way from product questions on how-tos, if it goes through different navigation questions or different things that have to do with features, to the essence of bookkeeping and understanding how the software really works, how FMS, financial management system, works for our customers in there. And so if you move to the next slide, what is important to also kind of get us all anchored on is that we're getting many, many questions throughout the life cycle of customers and businesses. But if you look at the top call reasons, the top engagements that we have in top engagements, they're really anchoring in these three categories. And I'm sure you're all familiar with these ones. And these are things that probably your clients have, raised in the past. And these are things that we're really addressing as part of the offering, as part of the service. The first one is reconciliation questions. And there are a whole set of questions in there, but examples as how do I reconcile? Why do I have to reconcile? What's the importance of that? Why is it even relevant to me? There are questions around banking disconnections that are happening, banking balances and mismatches that you see between your bank account and QuickBooks. And there are also questions around duplication that have to do with transactions as well, which is really things that we've seen from customers that are happening. And they're happening through the different ways that they use the product, and really understanding the core essence of that is what we're going after. If you move to the next slide, it's important to kind of differentiate what we are offering versus things that we're not offering as part of this service. So starting on the left side, what is included in the offer is the things that I've shared earlier today. What is the importance of your accounts, how you use them, how do they connect with QuickBooks, understanding how you categorize, and the importance of staying on top of your categorization, how you troubleshoot when you have issues with bookkeeping, how do you troubleshoot when you have questions around balances and so forth, and also getting advantage of QuickBooks and ensuring that you understand how to use dashboard reports so really you can take the insights that you need to stay on top of your finances and your business. What we're not doing is we're not editing anything. We're not changing anything on behalf of the customers. Remember, this is a coaching experience. So we're only guiding through the customers themselves. We're not performing bookkeeping tasks. We're not providing consultations of any form, definitely not advisory on tax or bookkeeping. And so these are important delineations that I want to make sure that are very clear. What we're teaching our customers is how to use QuickBooks, what is the benefit of that, the essence of bookkeeping, and how to get their insights that they need to run their business. Now, if you move to the next slide, I think what is also critical and important to emphasize and just share is that every service that we have, or any service at all, anchors on people at the end of the day. And our network is broad and wide, and it comprises of certified accountants, certified bookkeepers, individuals like all of you that are part of your community that are participating. We have individuals that have bachelor degrees in accounting, finances, and bookkeeping, right? We also have a very vast network of product experts that are really designed and really augmenting the way that we're thinking about the capabilities and the way that they're actually are really trained in QuickBooks to solve for really customer problems that are associated with the product and things that they need to understand as part of the feature set and functionality. Right, so they go deeper in there. They have a deeper understanding. They can resolve issues that customers can incur as part of their experience in there. The other piece that I think, which is very important, is that the network itself is completely monitored. Right, we have a very robust auditing process, and we have a whole set of teams that are really involved in understanding the experience. Every conversation with the customer is recorded and captured. We have feedback mechanisms, feedback loop mechanisms. We have sentiment analysis. We have coaching and coaching functionalities, both to the experts and to our managers to make sure that they're staying on top of their scorecard, the quality, and the experiences that we want to deliver. So this is highly monitored, and we see that as table stakes on every service that we bring into the market. So I'm going to move to the next slide, and I'm going to just transition us now to talk about how is this experience going to manifest to the customers and to yourselves. And so starting with, again, April 29th, our customers, your clients and our customers, our shared customers are going to see a new tab, a new access point at the left-hand side of the navigation that says Live Experts. If they click on that, if you move to the next slide, they will see two distinct views, right, depending on who the customer is, and I'll share what that is. But it's important to note that as an accountant, you view what is on the right-hand side here, and they'll continue the rest of the slides in here, and the customer, your client, is going to see the left-hand side of what we're seeing here in this image. And what we're going to share there is the offering, and we're going to be very transparent, both with the customers and the accounting community, all of you, of what the offer is. You have the opportunity to also click on the more information areas in there, that you have links to FAQs to learn more about the offer itself. If you move to the next slide, this is what you're going to see when the actual customer has clicked into the next step in there, and they're actually looking to explore more about the offering. Again, we're sharing the cost, we're sharing and very transparent about the service and what we're offering a part of the service. And you're going to see almost a mirror view of what that experience looked like, with clarity around the cost and the benefit in there. Now, it's important to note, and I'll call it out in a second as well, that depending on how your client, is paying for it, if the client is paying for it, they will be able to purchase it. If they're not paying for it, then they will not be able to purchase at this point. And we'll talk about the next evolution of the offering and how we're going to bring it to the next step, so it's actually widely available for everybody. Now, lastly, if you move to the next slide, what you would see here is post-purchase, you would see the options that the customer has, and they will be able to actually engage any one of the topics that they have, any one of their intents that they have, and we will match them into the expert that's relevant, that can help them solve in the most effective way the question that they have. And again, on the right-hand side is what you're all going to see as part of that experience, which is, again, more details on the offering, the hours of operation, and specific FAQs that we've built in there to answer any questions that you may have. So moving into the next slide in there, just to add, again, more color into the point that I was making earlier. If you are on the ProAdvisor preferred pricing plan, if you're paying on behalf of your client, on behalf of the customer, you and the customer would not have access to that. And so that is not yet available, but we're planning to bring that up for all of you, so you can actually get the benefit, and your customers can get the benefit of having this assisted experience in there. I will move to the next maybe slide in here and maybe wrap us up as we're looking ahead and what are the things that we want to do. And so first of all, I'll start by saying that we already ran a pilot with a small selected a few accountant which are a part of our network. And we've got some really solid and positive feedback across, but we also got some input on things that we want to make sure that we put on the roadmap going ahead. For instance, we want to make sure that we're adding the ability and the transparency to see the case notes and what was the engagement like with the customer. So that's one thing. We also want to make sure that we bring the capability and the availability of that capability to all of you more broadly as part of that. And we need to understand what that looks like and how do we make sure that you can all actually use this as well and recommend this as part of the broader set of offerings that we offer in QuickBooks. We believe strongly that small businesses and a QuickBooks platform will benefit by working with you, creating that network effect, giving businesses really the added confidence of combining the power of this assisted service with the high touch experience that you all bring as part of the offerings that you have and the part of the services that you bring in the advisory part and everything that you offer for clients as part of your accounting firms and your services. All right. So with that, I am maybe turning back to you, Ted, to go into the Q&A section.
Great. So as always, one of the practices that we incorporate on our emails when we send out news like this is we ask you proactively for your feedback. What questions do you have? How can we be clearer? And so we've gotten a number of questions that we've filtered in to the Q&A. And so we're going to handle those, and we're going to have some time for some additional Q&A as it's been coming in on the chat too. So let's go to the first question that we got through email. If you'll go to the next slide. So Sherry S., thank you for your question. And Cassie, I'll have this one go to you first. Sherry asked, why do you feel it's necessary to be rolling this change out here and now?
It's a great question. And really, it comes to the customer. We have a lot of urgency to solve our customers' problems. And as I mentioned, we've learned a lot in offering guided setup and assisted bookkeeping. And really, we've anchored on this problem of how can we supplement more to solve customers' problems. Our co-founder, Scott Cook, always teaches us to savor the surprise. And I think one surprise we've been savoring and thinking about how we then move ahead on is the surprise that 40% of our assisted service customers are also connected to an accountant. And we started to hear in these sessions when we get access to, have approval to have recorded a call, people saying things like, oh, my accountant is going to be so happy that I'm finally doing XYZ that they asked me to do. And we started hearing more of these anecdotes about this shared opportunity where our experts working alongside you were really the magic formula for a lot of our customers. So I would emphasize that we really see this as something that augments the services you provide. We have a lot of indicators, both from the 40% who use both our experts and accounting firm services, as well as from the pilot that Itai mentioned. And as we move forward on this, we've had a lot of collaboration across our teams, and there have been a set of guiding principles that we've been thinking about as we move ahead. And in short, they are: one, these live services augment the services provided by our accounting professionals. Number two, these services have to offer unique value to our customers. And number three, they have to offer unique value to you and your firms. And so that's really been what has guided us. And we see a real opportunity to solve both our customers' problems that we share, as well as bring benefits to firms as you face talent and hiring shortages and decisions of, where to draw the cut line on services that you offer. So we think there's a win-win.
Thank you, Cassie. Very helpful to hear. And if I transition, I think one of the key areas, and I think Lana in the current chat was kind of pushing, she was saying, Ted, you promised us Intuit would not market to our clients. What has changed? I hope Lana, in what you just heard Cassie talk through, you can hear what has changed, right, very clearly, which is in this change, what we're providing is a service that is not competitive, but instead truly complementary to you. And so what's changed is wanting to help the customers who need that help in a way that isn't disruptive to your business. And the fact that we already saw 40% of folks having that practice where we were effectively co-firming with you, right? They were getting a live experience and connected to the accountant and getting benefit. Next question. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Kathy.
Sorry, Ted. I just want to emphasize also that these experts are also, they're not going to try to upsell to a different live service that is competitive. And so we've got really strict guardrails. These guiding principles have permeated everything around how we market, the experience we've created. And so it is absolutely not our intention to compete in any way. As Ted just reiterated, we see this as something that could augment and really become a power offering for you and your customers.
Perfect. Thank you, Cassie. Next question, we got this from Kristen K. And it was, will all customers be able to see the Live Expert tab? And this is in that QBO in the left nav. Itai, I'll let you address this one.
Yeah, so just to, again, repeat the same thing I was saying earlier. Yes, it will be available to all customers starting April 29th. All customers will see that tab with the restrictions that I've clearly articulated there, right? So if you are paying on behalf of your customers, you have some limitations. You will see it. You will get the page in there, but you won't be able to get in and set up the service. But yes, it'll come broadly available to all customers in the restrictions and the structures that I've shared there. And again, just to emphasize the same point that you just raised by Cassie and Ted, if you think about the opportunity here, it's massive, right? We know that our customers are struggling, right? We know that through the offering, and we've seen that through the data, their overall satisfaction is higher, which is what we want. Their overall net promoter scores, which is a survey that we send out to our customers, is significantly higher. We also have seen that by coaching customers, they're staying on top of their books as well. And their books completion by the end of the month increase, which we know is a very challenging problem for all of us, right? If we have our clients and our customers completing their books, then it actually helps us get the insights that you all need to give your clients in there, and it helps you scale as well, right? How many questions you're all following up with your clients to make sure that they're actually actioning certain things, they're getting information. This is a way for us to bring this benefit to our customers and help you scale and focus where it matters, where you can actually drive value, insights, actually bring in the white glove service that you all bring to your cluster, to their customers, and really enable you to scale in your firms and in your businesses.
Thank you, Itai. And I see Tunde. You said, please don't answer softball questions. Address the key questions on how this negatively impacts accountants and bookkeepers. We hear you, so thank you for that. And actually, the next question that we got from Beth is exactly on this point as well. So Cassie, I'll direct this one to you, which is, in what way do you envision partnering with us as opposed to competing with us? Which gets to, I think, to the essence and the push that Tunde was making. So again, y'all bring the direct questions and we'll bring the direct answers.
Yeah, and agreed. And let me start with, we do not believe that this is going to bring negative consequences to you and your firm or your practices by any means. We really see this as an opportunity where, we've shared what we believe the customer benefit is. We are at a point where we see a lot of benefit for your firms. The industry is changing. Less people are going into the accounting field while the number of small businesses rising. And there is article and podcast upon article and podcast on declining numbers and a crunch across firms. And what we hear from a lot of you is tough choices you are making to decide how you're going to prioritize the customers you can take on, or frustration that you are focusing on less high value services because there's a lot of busy work and drudgery to get through. And so we see this as a real opportunity for us to be able to tackle some of those basic questions if your customers choose. Right? Nobody has to use this. We want to get to a place, as Itai mentioned, that you're actively recommending it because we believe you will see benefit, that we can tackle some of the basics to free you up to focus on higher value, bigger picture topics with your customers and really get to a place where, I want you to open your mindset to be that maybe QuickBooks Live, it won't be the antagonist. We believe these experts can be part of your superhero team and together offer a lot of value to your customers and to you as well.
Thank you, Cassie. I think I'm watching questions in the chat, and Ingrid had a good question. Why are you not referring your customers who need more help back to us so we can help them in the right way? Which to me actually gets into how we continue to evolve the service. And so Caleb had sent in a question early, which is, how are you going to involve us in the development of the service? And so Itai, would you mind, as you walk through how the community has been involved and will continue to be involved, can you also talk about that ability, that referral piece as well?
Yeah, totally. So I think just going back to the core, we've been working with the community. We have the partner council that we're constantly engaged with and having feedback sessions in QuickBooks and let alone in Intuit as a whole. As we release products, we're constantly in an improving cycle, right? There's a feedback loop of improvement. And we need to hear from customers. We need to hear from experts. We need to hear from all of you, of the community, and how we can continue to improve the offering and the benefit. Through conversations that we already have, and I shared the pilot that we've got some feedback. We got some very positive reinforcements of the benefit of getting customers set up. We all know how much time it takes to teach customers how to use QuickBooks, what to do, what not to do, and how to take advantage of the functionality. We know that customers have a lot of questions, right? And we want to make sure that we're perfecting our offerings based on what we're hearing from customers. And we'll continue to iterate on the service benefits and making sure we're bringing the benefits and the quality. And we'll work with all of you to actually make sure that we're actually augmenting, we're actually adding a broader set of experts into your overall arsenal of services that you provide. We'll do that through iterations, and we'll do that through learnings. There are things that we already heard, and I've kind of alluded to that earlier today, which is really you want to have transparency on the engagement. And I'm totally on board with that. We have to, and we will prioritize these features and functionalities so you can see that engagement. We want to be able to bring in, for instance, the ability to engage with experts as well. You can, by yourself, engage with experts if you have any questions on product or anything else. And also, you can engage with experts that provided services to customers, which we think is very valuable as well. So we'll continue to do that. We'll have an open dialogue. We'll have an open engagement and make sure that we collect all the insights that we have to make sure that we're perfecting the experiences on behalf of our customers in there.
Thanks, Itai. It's good. I love hearing all of that. There was a specific question of, hey, were pro advisors included in the pilot? Absolutely, is the short answer. I know for additional Q&A, Kim Amsbaugh, whom many of you know, see, love, and revere, as do we all, has been also going through Q&A to make sure we're getting any questions addressed that we either missed or that are coming on. So I'll let, if we can bring Kim on to bring in some additional Q&A, that would be great. Kim, can you hear us, and can we hear you? Cannot hear you, Kim. Cassie, you talked about savoring the surprise. I think the webinar technology has been nothing but a surprise for us today. Let me see if I've got some other questions that are coming in from others. Let me see if I can have, are we going to try to bring Kim back in? If not, Kim, maybe you can, if you can hear me, you can send the questions that you'd found coming over. Okay. There's still a lot of questions coming in about what exactly are assisted services. That's what we've been talking about today, the QuickBooks Live Expert Assisted Experience, in comparison to the work that the live experts do versus the work of bookkeepers and accountants. Can you go over those details again? So Itai, I think you'd probably be the best person to tackle that one.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk through that. So the differences are, and I don't know if you want to go back to that other slide, but I can talk through that as well. There's very clear delineation there. One, the service is anchored on coaching. The big and most visible difference in there is that this is not a full service experience. The experts are not touching the books. They don't have access to the books. What they do is they have the ability to initiate a screen share, and they start their, what we call the coaching session with the customer, that engagement. And so if you're in setup step, if you're new to Intuit, if you're new to QuickBooks, then we will take you through the steps to share with you how do we set up the QuickBooks experience, right? How do you set it up and get most benefits for your specific needs? Right, so they have a very specific flow that they go through to ensure that you're properly set up, you understand the pieces that are important. We're not sharing everything. Again, there's a limited amount of time and there's the limited recollection that a customer can really collect in one session. But we'll go through the core pieces that are important, which is setting you up, getting your bank connections set up, making sure you understand the chart of accounts, taking you very quickly and getting you the understanding of how reporting works and so forth. Now, we will have, obviously, the customer is also leading with some questions, so we'll take them through any area that they're interested in as part of the setup. The second benefit that we bring in there is, again, understanding the essence of bookkeeping, which is at the core of why they're using QuickBooks. And customers don't understand that, and they don't understand how to classify, they don't understand how to categorize, and so we'll teach them how to do that. We won't guide them in what to do, but we'll teach them what is important and how they need to do the classification process in there. We'll troubleshoot if they have issues in there. And what we'll take them through as well is, looking at the reporting and dashboards and how they can set it up for their advantage. They can see the information that they want for their business. So these are core pieces that we're going to be doing as part of the benefits for the offering. What we are not doing, and I'm going to repeat that again, we are not accessing the customer's books. We're not able to change that with this offering. And so that is not going to be the part of the service. We're not performing bookkeeping tasks, right, that you all perform as part of the work that you provide on behalf of your clients. We are not going to be providing consultations. We're not going to give budgeting advice. We're not going to give CFO advisory. And we're not going to give any tax advice for sure. And we're not going to file on behalf of the customers, right? And so these are things that are out of scope for this service. If they have questions, generic questions around taxes, deadlines, and things like that, compliance pieces, then we'll give them the high-level view. And obviously, they're attached to each and every one of you. And so they have the ability to engage you for further information in these topics.
Thanks, Itai. So I think that there have been a number of questions about the experts and the standards. And I know some folks are saying, how do I know that the experience and the guidance that you all are providing is in lockstep? And a bunch of questions there, Itai, about our standards and if we have experts who aren't providing good advice, how are we monitoring that? Can you talk just a bit more on the quality aspect and the standards just to nail that point home for folks?
Yeah, so I'm happy to share more. So we have actually a broad organization within our network organization that is actually focused on quality. And what we do, there's a variety of things that are happening in there. And I can share a little bit maybe about the methodology that they follow, which is a lean culture methodology on perfecting the experience. That's something that we actually took away from the Toyota manufacturing processes in there and really brought that in as part of the culture, right, which we call continuous improvement. And within that, that team, what they do, there's a variety of things, right? So I'm gonna probably touch a little bit on that, but can't share the whole piece in here. But it's a very robust process that we put in place. What we have is capabilities that are helping us monitor, right? So we're monitoring calls and we're monitoring the experiences and we're capturing these calls and running different models on those calls to understand where we see anomalies, where we see things that are flagged, that we want to make sure that we capture and act upon, right? If we, for instance, see a negative sentiment and a certain threshold, then we'll drive a proactive intervention with the customer and we'll figure out what happened and we'll engage the expert and we can see the recording of the conversation. This is one example of things that we can do. The other thing is that the team is looking at the process as a whole, end to end, and ensuring that every step of the way it's monitored. And they do that through observation. We call that, again, I'm not going to get into the detail, it's what we call Gemba. And again, taken from the whole philosophy of the lean management system. And what we do there is make sure that we observe and see how the process is actually delivered, how the service is delivered, the process and the service. So that's another piece that feeds into the feedback that we get. We send surveys to customers, and so we collect feedback through surveys. And we also drive coaching, constant reinforcements of coaching there's a very clear guidance and KPIs that every single expert has to adhere to. And managers are making sure that they're coaching the experts, that they're actually pointing out in areas that there are improvements, that they're following the structure in which we've designed the service. So there's a very robust process in there. It comprises of process, it comprises of people and the tools, and it comprises of our ability to collect input and feedback directly from our customers.
Thanks, Itai.
One build.
Oh, go ahead, Cassie.
Just to build to connect to, some of the what Itai just shared is a lot of real-time call monitoring and listening sort of by technology. And we focused a lot today on the expert platform and expert service portion of an AI-driven expert platform. But one of the areas where we see future opportunity, and it's an area we want to innovate in, is how do we begin to understand the intelligence that we can glean from these conversations to better connect, provide information. It could be a referral to one of you. We've heard different complaints of where we can better tune, find a pro advisor so it works to bring you the right type of customers that are a good fit for your firm. I see that as an opportunity as we bring in customers who we are assisting who don't have an accounting professional. I also think it's a great opportunity that we envision to be able to not only provide a call log of what happened, but be able to share opportunities that we see for you to increase the value that you can provide to some of these customers. And so we focused a lot on the basics, and we absolutely have to get that right. But I just wanted to share, as we think about our real vision of an AI-driven expert platform, AI will work not only for the customer benefit, but it will work for your firm benefit as well. And so I'm really excited about some of the things we're prioritizing for the future to bring some of those expert tools into our accountant tools, as well as our expert tools.
Yeah, good points, Cassie. I was going to compliment Itai on using a bunch of words I've never heard before, like Gemba, and just the way, I just love the way that we're innovating, going to Toyota and studying how they're doing their lean production system. It sounds like there was a slight misinterpretation of the role of AI in some of these questions, and so I just want to clarify. We're not relying on AI to answer the questions. Instead, we have a number of places where AI is helping our experts serve up the right kind of content that they can then use and use their own discretion. Again, if you think about it, they've got 10 years of experience. We want that business judgment ultimately in the hands of the expert to help the customer. We're just giving them some of that, some of those areas where they can more quickly see, okay, here's how this has been answered before. Here, I'm going to take what's relevant and then provide that in my answer. I'm learning.
Maybe I can share maybe more on that because that's a great example. So we just clarify what we're bringing at the tools of our experts is the ability to understand the situation, right? So we capture intent based on what the customer is asking for. And then we can surface the right information to the experts so they can actually have all the FAQs they need, all the guidance on the service that we want to provide for this customer, and general things that they need to watch for and be informed on. And so it's not directly, back to your point, it's actually giving real-time coaching or real-time input to our expert community so that actually can better serve our customers, our shared customers in these services.
Thanks, Itai. I know we're running close on time, so I'm going to ask one final question, and then I'll wrap us up because we want to honor the time, how precious it is for all of you, and thank you again for joining us. So the final question, and I'm trying to find where it went. Final question, and this is to help summarize everything that you've heard today. I'd love, maybe Itai, you can take first pass, and then Cassie to you. What are we trying to achieve by making our assisted live service available to all small businesses on our platform?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think it goes back to the root of the customer problem that we're solving for, right? And so if you think about the rationale of Big Bet 2, which is truly anchoring around confidence, and specifically with the products and the areas that we're all playing in, right? Which is finances, which is taxes, bookkeeping. It is super important that we give customers the confidence that they need so they feel that they are not alone. They feel that they can go after the areas that they have fearful to get into, and have the guidance that they need in order to achieve their goals, right? And I talked about the areas that they're struggling with. There's a lot of FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt for customers who come in, definitely who are trying to use for the first time a financial management system in there. And we want to be able to help them. We want to be there by their side so they understand how to use the product and understand how they get most out of the product, and they actually focus on what they care about most, which is running their businesses and be successful and thriving in their business. So that's really what we're doing here. We're going after confidence, and we want to make sure that customers have experts really that can help. And that is the augmented view of experts. We're, catering for the pieces that I just shared in this service, pertaining to the core areas between setup, between understanding really the essence of categorizations and bookkeeping and the importance of that, and really helping them get, feature and functionality that exists in the product that they may not be aware of or not using properly. So these are the core things. And in turn, what they get from all of you is the high touch experience, the white glove service, the guidance, and the advisory that they need in order to be successful in their business. And so that's the rationale. And their struggles, right? Their struggles across between new customers and existing customers. And we want to make sure that we're there for them. And so that's the rationale and bringing it out to the broader set of customer base that we have.
Thank you, Itai. Cassie?
There's not much I would add to what Itai shared, but I will say, our goal is not just that people buy QuickBooks, it's that they benefit from QuickBooks. And we see such an opportunity here to do that together. 4 years ago, in my mind, I thought that, we just wanted somebody to be connected to an expert. And it would either be, if it wasn't one of you, it would be for the 40%, we'd get them connected to a live expert. I have come to see the power of connection to a number of experts for the right customer to be able to deliver that benefit. There are a lot of stats as we look at usage of QuickBooks. People just scratch the surface. There's a lot there, and I just see this as a huge way for us to deepen customers' financial literacy and business acumen, not only of sort of how they're running their business, what's happening in their business. And as I mentioned, we see it as an opportunity for us to handle some of the basics and to really free you up to do the higher value, bigger picture work that will get our customers to a point where we all can claim victory, that it's not half of small businesses going out of business because of cash flow issues. And we have really put a dent in the small business success rate. That's why I believe we are all here. That's why I joined this company 16 plus years ago. And I think this is an exciting step that we will refine together to achieve the outcomes we know possible for our customers faster.
Thank you, Cassie. Thank you, Itai. Thank you all who have joined us from wherever you are today. It's been wonderful to be together, even though we don't have the benefit of getting to interact like we would love to. It's great to have your partnership. I love all of the energy in the chat and in the Q&A. We're going to be posting this video afterwards on our accountant's YouTube channel in the coming days. So you can be referring back to this. And I know there were a lot of questions that we didn't have time to answer and address. We're going to be updating our Firm of the Future article and then posting another one, I believe, with, hey, here's some other questions that we heard. We want to make sure that you are hearing our answer on those things. As you all know, we love the hard question and we don't shy away from any of those. Our goal today was to be transparent with you about what we're doing, why we're doing it, why we see a shared benefit for our shared customers, as well as you've heard from both Itai and Cassie, for firms. on the other side, and we're going to continue to do that and make that better. So that is all we've got time for today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your partnership. It's what got us here. It's where we're headed in the future. Future continues to be all of us together on that shared mission that Cassie talked about. So it gets all of us out of bed every morning, and it's a privilege to serve you and our customers together. Thank you all. Take care.